Hey YouTube, how's it going? Errol here, the Comic Chief. Welcome to another recap of Jason Aaron's Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the Avengers. I'm going to try to keep these videos shorter as the last one ran above 10 minutes, and I know time is precious. Issue number 692, or 2018 number 2, has a fantastic cover drawn by Ed McGuinness, Mark Morales, and Justin Pinzor. The title of this issue is Still Avenging All These Years. We have a giant celestial with its hand standing over the Avengers. It's pretty cool. In the last issue, we ended with the final host and two other celestials standing with him. And the introductory crawl on the first page tells us that they were actually dark celestials. So the final host and the dark celestials, we got names now. The issue immediately picks up with action as the big three, Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America, are in full action mode in the first panel. It's pretty great. That first panel also has a narrator in green text, and it's a nice Easter egg with the quote, "Adventure awaits, excitement abounds, Excelsior," and it made me think that was a Stan Lee cameo, or Stan Lee came back as an editor for one more time before he died or passed away. But the font tells me it's a Thorish character, and the green tells me it's Loki. And then you actually see a silhouette of him in a panel on that page. Throughout the issue, the narration ended up being the perfect complement to fantastic art that can tell an action-packed issue story. And the next page recaps the events of the first issue with Doctor Strange and Black Panther battling creatures below the plains of Africa. Captain Marvel was maneuvering a dead celestial into the Hudson River, and the Ghost Rider was battling as well. Robbie Reyes, Ghost Rider, had a much bigger part this issue as we see him battling aliens outside of his house. His brother Gabe is locked in his house, and I guess he didn't think to look out the window to see what was going on, but instead we hear him shouting out to Robbie. So yeah, how can he not see a hot-headed Ghost Rider setting everything on fire? There was a funny line of him on one of those pages asking Robbie why his voice sounded weird. Again, why don't you just look out the window? So there's something about Robbie Reyes as Ghost Rider that makes me like him more than the Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider I grew up on. I guess maybe it's his fiery hell charger. Who doesn't like American Muscle? So we cut to Jennifer Walters walking up to a dead celestial and immediately being sprung into action as the Hulk against her will. So she's trying to fight it. After reading these first 10 issues of Immortal Hulk, I immediately see a huge difference between She-Hulk and Bruce Banner's Hulk, or the current Hulk. And growing up in the 80s and 90s, I never really gave the female Hulk, She-Hulk, the respect she deserves. But this issue kind of changed my mind. And I don't know, you got to read it. The way she's drawn is so perfect, and as I've seen her on recent Battle Lines covers and issues and variant covers, it makes me want to grab those issues. I want to go back to the LCS and grab those issues. Anyway, shifting back to the big three, we see that they are throwing literally everything they have at the final host, but nothing they can do can take him down. We start getting shots of Loki, and he's still lurking in the shadows. So like I said, the issue started off with a silhouette of Loki after the big three were first shown, and the next time we see him is when the big three just came back in this issue. So we see Loki's eyes this time in a panel, and he's watching the events unfold as he's speaking his narration. The way he speaks of the characters and the Avengers makes it known to casual readers or people like me who've been out of the game for a while that Loki has a deep connection and history with the Avengers. It's not just with Thor, just because it's his brother, but it's with everyone. It's with Captain America, with Iron Man. So anyway, we flash forward to She-Hulk, and we see her defeat the last of the creatures that made her transform in the first place. And she realizes that the dead Celestial was not dead after all, and that it was actually the Celestial Isan. We also know this because she also responds to Loki's narration. For example, his narration read, they've returned with a cure. And in that case, what he's referring to is the fact that the Dark Celestials returned, and they are battling. They're not just battling the old Celestials we've come to know and love in the past, but they were different because they had thousands of individual life forms inside them. So they are Celestials, but something else is inside them. So is there something possibly controlling them? Is Loki controlling them? Listen, YouTube, I have questions too. So again, She-Hulk begins to respond with a cure for what? But Isan transports her to Robbie Reyes, who was speeding through the desert before she could even finish that question. This immediately pisses her off, and the two begin to have a pretty epic battle with each other. I'm telling you, this fight is actually it's pretty badass. We get to see some Hulk smash action, and she folds the Hell Charger up in a paperweight. But we know it's Ghost Rider's spirit animal, and it'll return to form later. So as all this is happening, Captain Marvel is assisting the big three: Thor, Captain America, um, Iron Man, and she's assisting them in their puny attempt to defeat the final host. She calls on Alpha Flight for a weapons cache filled with warp grenades to send the Dark Celestials towards the sun. And as the big three and Captain Marvel race toward the final host, Captain America is attacked by the final host, and it looks like he's sucked into a force field in the palm of his hand. So as the Avengers race to save Captain America and get him out of the way so that they could use the grenades, the warp grenades, a Celestial, not a Dark Celestial, comes out of nowhere, and it seems to punch the Dark Celestial in the face. But so much is going on right now, and I'm not really sure. The final 3 pages end with Hulk and Ghost Rider finishing their battle with each other, and then they're actually surrounded by the green alien creatures that were underground that we first saw in the last issue with Doctor Strange and Black Panther. So the Celestial puts up a small fight and was defeated by the final host and Dark Celestials. Thor, Captain Marvel, and Iron Man were blasted with electricity, and the last man standing was none other than Loki. As he put it, he's the greatest Avenger who ever lived. So at this point, I'm a little bit confused, and I actually reread these last few pages a few times because, like I said, everything's happening so fast. What's going on? At first, it appeared that Loki came to help the Avengers to correct the mistake that the 1 million BC Avengers made a long time ago. And the main reason I'm confused is because the solicitation for the next issue, for issue number 3, on the next page shows Loki blasting Captain Marvel, Thor, and Iron Man with green magic, or it's like electricity, and it looks like they're strings on a puppet, but I don't know. Oh, and also the solicitation actually reads that Loki took Captain America prisoner. So guess we'll find out in the next episode of my Avengers recap. I don't really have a name for this, so YouTube, if you've got any ideas, please put them in the comment section below. Thanks, YouTube. Please like, share, and subscribe. This is the Comic Chief going offline.